All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So today we're going to be hosting our top producer interview series, female edition, with three of the most amazing, badass realtors, women realtors in the county. And they're going to share a little bit about their secrets to success. But before we get started, for those of you watching this online, please like the page, share the feed, and make sure to post in your comments, and we'll get them answered by the three ladies today. And first and foremost, before we get started, just extending my well wishes to our local community and everybody who's been affected by this crazy virus, both economically and health-wise. It's a very tough time for everybody. So, today we just want to provide a little bit of content to the real estate community and, just for the community in general. Today, we are interviewing three ladies that are both top producing women realtors. And I'm super honored and excited to have Nydia Centeio Christina Zecca and Taryn Pisaneschi on the line. So thank you, ladies, for joining us. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ryan Brown. I'm an originator and also branch manager here at Cross Country Mortgage in Palm Beach Gardens. We are a direct lender. I'm nationally ranked in the Scotsman's Guide, and we are a lender that is still serving our clients down to a 580 score, no overlays. Conventional loans, we're still doing 620 with 3% down, and we're still doing investor loans. A lot of lenders have stopped doing all of that, so I just wanted to mention that. So, ladies, all three of you are super hardworking. I know all of you personally, top producers, and overall, I just respect each and every one of you. Just wanted to thank you again for taking the time today to join us. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with Christina. So Christina,
hi everybody.
For those of the viewers that do not know you, just share a little bit about yourself, the market you serve, and just a little bit about your team.
All right. Well, I'm Christina Zecca. I grew up here in Jupiter, born and raised in South Florida. I was actually born at St. Mary's Hospital. Went to high school in Palm Beach Gardens and graduated there. So I'm local. I've been in the real estate business since 1998. So just north of 23 years, focusing all on Northern Palm Beach County and Southern Martin County. I mainly specialize in the Northern Palm Beach County waterfront market. And I've got a fantastic team of two wonderful girls, Samantha Marsky and Teresa Texan. It's just the three of us. And, we all work hard. And I work for an amazing broker, Michael Papas, and a great manager, Dale. And we're out of the Jupiter office right here in Jupiter, Florida.
Nice. Thanks, Christina. And Nydia, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your markets, and your team.
So I've been in real estate for 20 years now. I own a real estate office called Realty One Group. We opened about a year and a half ago, opened our second location in Del Rey. We have an office in Palm Beach Gardens. We've grown to a team of 61 agents. We specialize in all residential real estate. I personally work with investors, and that's kind of like my niche. And we list for investors all throughout Florida.
Nice, thanks, Nydia. And Taryn.
So our office is in Palm Beach, and we service Palm Beach County. But I tell people I have real estate services will travel. So we have gone up to St. Lucie County and down to Miami, depending on people's needs. But Palm Beach County really is our concentration. We got into real estate for ourselves in 2013, but Raj and I have been in business for ourselves for 20 years. So our foundation is in operating a business, really looking at it, as not just a service that we provide, but the whole business, a CFO, marketing. We look at our numbers regularly. And with these skills, we have really grown a culture of customer service, collaboration, and just being cohesive. So our team is 9 agents. And we have a commercial division, and we do rentals. We work with investors, but we always look at it as, what is the highest and best use of our skills for our clients' needs.
Gotcha. Thanks, Taryn. So let's get a little bit about mindset. I really like asking this question right now because, it's a tough time. There's just a lot going on. Some realtors are in, tough situations where they've lost a lot of deals, maybe going through some hard times, or deals have been getting delayed, going through a lot of personal issues, you know, with people getting laid off, or maybe their spouse getting laid off or furloughed. So just a lot going on. So Nydia, you know, what I really like about you is your positivity and your attitude. Like you're always super positive. You always have a great attitude. So tell us a little bit about your mindset right now and how do you maintain that in this type of market?
Well, you know, we're all in the same boat. So what I've been doing is really just motivating the agents and really focusing on just our daily schedule and just keeping it, you know, keeping our daily schedule, contacting our sphere, making sure our people are, you know, up to date with what's going on, if they're okay, do they need anything, you know, because we're all in this together. So, you know, waking up every day, kind of like waking up to win. That's what our motto is right now, is just waking up to win and really just helping people out and educating everyone, because we are a necessity. Housing is a necessity. People still need a roof over their head. They need to move. They need to rent a place. So, you know, with our agents, we've been motivating them, sending them daily emails every day with current webinars that they can go on, educating themselves and really just getting back to basics. You know, we're all used to being in a busy, crazy schedule, and this kind of forced us all to really look at the big picture and what we have to work on. Yeah. So just using this time to really work on ourselves.
Yeah, that's a great attitude and a great mindset. Christina, I see you out there. You're still listing luxury properties, you know, making big moves in the markets that you're serving, waterfront and luxury. You know, tell me a little about your mindset right now.
Well, it's very similar to Nydia's, you know. I mean, I get up every morning. I'm still in the same routine. I get up, I get showered, I put my makeup on, what makeup I put on. I put lipstick today, but at the end of the day, you know, you just get up and you got to keep moving forward. And, you know, if you keep yourself busy and try not to get stuck in the vortex, I think it really makes a difference. Get out and take care of yourself as well. You know, do a walk daily, or, you know, whatever you can just to get out. Take a drive, even if you don't want to get out of the car, kind of thing, and do stuff. I'm still getting calls daily and showing property. I've shown property pretty much every day. You know, we're using the proper safety precautions. I've got booties in my car. I've got masks. I got everything that I need. We don't touch anything, you know, and we get out there, and it's just nice to be able to keep going. And I basically say the same for the girls that work for me, is to, you know, get up and get going, and don't, you know, sit around and watch TV kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I've been telling my loan officers here the same thing as well. You know, whether you're working from home or wherever you're working from, you have to wake up, get dressed, put your shirt and tie on, make your calls, stay in prospecting, and do your daily tasks. That's good stuff. Taryn, so tell me a little bit about your mindset, because you're grinding every day, big volume, and you have 2 small children. So you're super mom as well, homeschool mom as well. How are you doing all this and still being a great mom? And what is your mindset right now?
So it's easy to get caught into the story. So we had to turn off the news. It was like, you cannot let all the news about everything that's going on everywhere affect our daily tasks and habits. And so from a mindset perspective, I had to figure out, how do we shift our schedules to be able to take care of our kids who are now homeschooling, as well as take care of our business and clients. And at the beginning, like most people, we started having some deals either get extended, you know, or falling apart. And then I woke up one day and I'm like, it's just like some people having financing changes. The deals fall apart. You can't let that become your story, and you need to go out and make your own rain. And, you know, just looking back at the database and saying, there are people here who know me. How do I get in front of them? There are people here who are forgetting that this is going to end. This is going to stop. Life will be back to normal, and we need to get in front of them. So, you know, we try to, one, communicate positive messages to our team, also be realistic with our clients and let them know, you know, the properties you want, they're still out there. You can still finance. We just need to come up with other solutions. And also using this time, you know, as a chance to work on our database and go backwards. So many of us got caught in the grind and the busyness, so we were in season. So, you know, your phones are ringing nonstop, and you're like, where are the people that I needed to maybe nurture a little more? So just looking at this as a golden chance to get back to the basics, like Nydia had started with, and, nurture, be a solution provider, and, again, just remember what's most important, which is, again, solving problems and creating opportunities too.
Yep. Yeah, very good. I love it. Christina, let's talk a little bit about teams, because all three of you ladies have teams. They're all very different. And I think you all have, very different things that you're really great at when it comes to your team. So Christina, one of the things that I really like about your team is their loyalty and their commitment to you and the team. They're very, very committed to you. You can see that in the way you guys interact, how you work with clients. So how do you create that type of loyalty in your team?
Well, I think you got to be a person and don't treat them any differently than you would want to be treated, so to speak. I mean, I'm still a boss, but at the end of the day, you still got to keep the peace and keep everybody moving and motivated. And I think motivating them by setting an example is one of the key things to do. I'm happy to share any of my knowledge or anything that I've got with them. They're learning and they're growing, and they're going to continue to grow and do more deals. They have access to all of my information and all of my app files type things. So if they need to reference something, I also make myself available all the time, no matter what it is. I'm there for them if they have a question or need help with anything. And I think if you just treat people right, then, they'll be loyal to you and whatnot. So, the key is just to be good to everybody.
Nice. And Nydia, tell us a little bit about, for you, you've built a massive team. You're a producing broker. So obviously you're recruiting agents as well as your personal production team. But for your offices, you've recruited over 60 agents. How do you find the right people to build a team? Whether you're maybe just starting off or you're trying to, expand.
Honestly, most of our agents have been with me for a while, and most of the agents that come to us have been referrals from other agents. So it's all relationship based. We're looking to grow our team. I look for people that have that business mindset, because this is a business. People think you get into real estate and it's easy money. Oh, I'm going to make all this money, but it's a business. So when we recruit people, we look for somebody that has a business mindset, that have positive attitudes, that are willing to put the work in, because this is work. It's a lot of work, and you have to put the time in to really have your daily schedule, have your marketing schedule, prospect 80% of the time of your day, because if you're not prospecting, you're not making money. It's a lead generating business.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people forget about that. I say that even when I'm recruiting loan officers for the branch, there's two things that you have to learn. There's sales and the technical side. They're completely different. Yep. Like if you're a great technician, you're never going to have any sales. And if you're just a good salesperson, you're never going to get any referrals if you don't know the technical side. So it's very, very true. And I think a lot of people, don't realize that. Taryn, so for you, tell me, a little bit about how you're building, because you're building your team right now. I've seen you add a couple people to the team. And how are you motivating and managing them in this environment where everybody's working remote?
So, with our team growth, we've been very cautious and slow to grow the team. The idea for us is to make sure that everybody fits the team mindset. Everyone is willing to help each other when they need help. They're willing to ask for help, and they're willing to be coached. And it's even funny because even, now people, they're like, I know you're really busy and I don't want to bother you. And I'm like, listen, I'm just as committed to this as I am to you. So if they have a prospect, I will get on the phone with them and do a buyer consultation. I will do listing appointments with them. My goal is not to have them completely self-sufficient. I love being involved in everything. So, I'm constantly reminding them to use me, to learn from me, ask questions, and I make myself as available as possible, including, just dedicating time slots on my calendar. I'm like, just put yourself in it and we will go over your leads, what you're saying, not saying, where people have gone quiet. So finding people that are looking for that has been critical for us. And it's kind of almost happened accidentally. Like maybe somebody will introduce someone to us that they really have the drive. They just need to get a good support team and support staff. So, it's we look at it, as all the spokes of a wheel. We're all equal parts, and everyone brings something else to the table. And in terms of motivating them, just reminding them ways to talk to people, not to be thinking about real estate, just, asking questions, and you can listen for the cues. So we do a lot of understanding like etymology of words and the motivations, so that when someone says one thing, we hear the message behind the message and say, talking about renting, have you considered buying? And just that little shift has helped everyone really build their pipelines, especially now.
Nice. That's good stuff. Let's switch gears a little bit to production. Christina, you do a lot of business in the waterfront luxury markets. How are you marketing right now to this type of clientele? And what are you seeing right now in those type of markets?
Well, we've been very fortunate and stayed busy in that market. I do a lot of social media marketing. We have within Illustrated Properties, property boosts available for us where it boosts to Facebook and other social media. We just did a boost on one of our properties, and I think we've gotten so far just this month almost 20 new buyer leads, and that's a $1.7 million plus property.
Wow.
So I think just staying in front of people, and we don't always post, real estate stuff, but if I'm out showing, I was out showing this morning a riverfront property. I just posted a picture of the river and says, happy Tuesday, look at these beautiful views kind of thing, or, great start to the day, anything like that. But I also am out on the boat, whenever I'm able to, and able to more now, to where we'll do posts of that, just, doing lifestyle of the water and things and such like that. But I think the waterfront market, at least so far, has been stayed pretty good for me. But there's also limited inventory, which helps in that market as well.
Yep. And what would you suggest, for some of maybe the newer agents that are on this call right now, what would you suggest if somebody wanted to break into the waterfront market? What would be some of the first steps that they would do if they wanted to start getting into that type of market?
I mean, I would just go out there and start photographing, go to the lighthouse when the lighthouse opens back up, and again, start focusing on some of those lifestyles, people paddleboard. You don't have to have a boat to enjoy the water here, drive up by the beach. I walked the beach road on Saturday and took pictures of the beach, and just start focusing on those waterfront type properties, because there's plenty of them out there, and people now I think are going to want to be more wanting a little more things to do if they're going to be cooped up, whether having a pool in their backyard or being able just to look at the water or get out on a kayak or a paddleboard or something along those lines. So I think, just do some of the social media stuff and to get working on that, and go to virtual open houses. We do virtual open houses. I'm available for anybody who wants to call. And if they want to know a little more about certain areas that I'm familiar with, I'm happy to share that with anybody as well.
Nice. Thanks, Christina. Nydia, so you work with a lot of investors who fix and flip, they fix and rent. What do you see within the investor market right now? Do you see investors heavily in this market? Are they waiting for opportunities? Are they on the sidelines? What are you seeing right now?
There's always opportunities. So they're always out there looking for opportunities. They're still buying. It has slowed down a bit, especially with the auction being closed right now, because the courthouse is shut down. So, but there's still deals out there. They deal a lot with different kinds of wholesalers. They have a lot of people that are doing their bird dogging for them and stuff like that. So they have good relationships with people that bring them deals. So they're still buying, and we're still listing. They're still rehabbing properties, and we're still listing properties. There's a lot of opportunities. It depends on the neighborhood. Everything is pocket opportunities and stuff. But for the most part, we're seeing even investors trying to purchase properties off the MLS for 20, 30% off list price and stuff. So you're going to have the bottom feeders right now that are going to try to get good deals out there, and they might get lucky. And it's just a matter of really putting in offers.
putting in a lot of offers and kind of seeing what gets accepted.
Exactly, because people have motivations and different motivations. So some people might just be distressed and have to sell quickly.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's where we are right now.
Yeah, I think you're seeing some of that too with like deals falling apart. You know, maybe someone gets laid off or furloughed and deals are falling apart at the last minute. So maybe sometimes the seller might have the motivation to say, okay, I'll sell to an investor at a discounted price. You know, that
Exactly.
you could certainly see situations like that.
And there's people that are calling us that don't want to show properties. They just want to get a cash offer because they don't want to deal with the hassle of showing a property, especially in this day and age with the pandemic.
Yeah, that's a very interesting perspective. And kind of the same question to you, Nydia. I mean, if it's a newer agent that's on the call today, you know, and they want to start working with investors, I mean, what would be some of the first steps for them to start doing that?
Really, it's knowledge. It's really, they have to educate themselves. So what I do with some of the agents that really want to get into investing, I teach them how to do a CMA. I teach them how to really go into the numbers because it's all about numbers. You know, there's the as-is price, and then there's the ARV, the after repaired value. So we kind of teach them how to go through the steps on qualifying an investor. You know, are they buying with their own money? Are they buying, you know, hard money? Do they have experience in, you know, renovations, or are they buying it to hold? So a lot of people are buying to hold right now. We see a lot of duplexes moving right now because people are buying to hold investment properties.
Yeah, and you could see a lot of that happening too. You're seeing a lot of people diversify from the stock market. You have people that are concerned about inflation due to all the printing of money right now by the Federal Reserve. And property is one of those hedges against inflation. So you could see a lot of money pouring into investment properties in the upcoming months. Taryn, let's switch gears over to you. You know, you work with a high volume of leads. You're great at, you know, you're great at getting leads from your past clients and your current clients who refer you. I think you're really talented at that. And you work in, like, in multiple areas, multiple different lead sources. But one of the things I think you're great at is the conversion of leads. You know, when you get somebody excited and you actually are able to convert that into a deal. So tell us, you know, one of the things, you know, what's a tip or a tactic, you know, that you use, and, you know, how do you connect with people and convert leads like that?
First, answer your phone. You'd be amazed at how many people do not answer the phones when you get, you know, those cold or, you know, just when people call you out of the blue, no matter what it is, if they're calling you, it's the same mentality as going into a car dealership. You don't go into a car dealership because you're not thinking about a car. And I hate that analogy, but it is so true because you're not just there because you have nothing better to do. So I, you know, teach everyone to start by asking questions, you know, and people don't want to be told. You have to lead them to figure out what it is they're actually looking for. So, you know, I had a call, I'll never forget, it was, you know, like early December. He'd said it was a Saturday or Sunday. He's like, my God, I've called like 7 people. You're the first person to answer. And I said, well, not only am I the first person to answer, but I'm going to be the one that's going to help you figure out what you want to buy. And you're going to be closed in 30 days if that's what you're looking for. And he goes, well, actually it is. I want to close by the end of December. So I have a place for homestead. And, you know, so I kind of, you know, I really work on my scripting and I gauge their personality to see if they're like kind of bubbly, if you know, I try to mirror that. And if they're very kind of calm and level, I try to mirror that as well. But I ask a lot of questions and I take notes and I repeat it back to them so that they know that I'm listening to them. And then if they're not liking what it is that I'm sending them or what we're talking about, I can go back and say, when we had spoken originally, you told me that these were the 5 most important things to you, but now you're telling me you kind of want to look in this other area. It doesn't really match that. So, you know, are you hoping that we're going to find out that area really is pet friendly, for example? Or are you hoping that we're going to get a lower price, or, you know, has something changed? And I think that's like the biggest disconnect when people get a buyer inquiry or even a referral and they go quiet on you after you're sending properties. It's something has changed. They haven't told you, and they think they're outsmarting you by going to Zillow or other sites. And then they start reaching out to their agents because they think that they can help you better than they can. So that's, one of the tricks. Another one is following up and staying in touch and not waiting for them to reach back out. If someone says, well, let's touch base in 2 weeks, I say, let's call back in like 4 days, because, and by then they're already thinking about real estate, and 2 weeks, they're really not going to wait 14 days before they revisit this. So I also set expectations as to the next points of conversation. After I hang up with you, I'm going to send you these things. If it's, I'm going to call you by Monday. We're going to see what you thought of the properties I sent, or see if you connected with Chris and Ryan across country, or, if you got that paperwork that we were looking for. And I try to lead them through it so they feel somewhat of a commitment, and they know that there's somebody proactively working for them. Yeah. I also find out through questions, if they've had a hard time finding properties, if they say, no one calls me back, right? No one's been able to find this for me. I go, well, it sounds like you've been looking for a long time. And surprisingly, they'll say, yes, I've been looking for 3 months and nobody can answer this question for me. So again, I try to figure out what are their obstacles so that I can constantly be ahead of it, instead of finding out a month or 2 months later that they bought with somebody else because I stopped following up. Yep. So questions, tags, really, understanding the buyer mindset, and also asking, if they've ever bought before. That changes your conversation. If someone's a seasoned buyer, some things might be rudimentary for them. If this is their first time, well, then we really need to talk about the offer and the process more, so that they don't get scared as things get serious.
Good stuff. And actually, what's one thing that you're doing right now? Or is there anything that you're doing right now to prepare yourself and your team for the post-COVID world? Is there anything different that you're doing right now?
We're asking questions like, what's your plan for when this passes? If this hadn't happened, would you be buying now? Another thing I ask, and because people relay a delay to the crisis, but I'm finding out a lot of people have leases, for example, with some of these buyers. I'm like, well, if we could get a seller to pay towards your closing costs, towards your costs to offset the cancellation fee for your lease, we found the right property right away, would that make the difference? And people go, my God, you can do that? So I just shift the closing cost credit towards being, going towards the cancellation for the lease. So again, just kind of the mindset. So I've taken a whole bunch of people. Rental inquiries are crazy high right now. And I'm telling my investors, if you're thinking about buying, buy now. I'm getting rental inquiries every day in like mass quantities. But when I find out that someone's credit score is really good and they have a W-2 job and they have first, last, and security, I figure out, well, that first, last, and security would equal this kind of a down payment. What if you could just buy something for the same cost as renting, and then when it comes to time to sell, you actually had something to get back from that investment versus a lease and paying to $100,000 to a landlord. Yep.
Cool. Good stuff. Christina, how about you? What are you doing differently now, or how are you preparing yourself and your team for the post-COVID market?
Well, I think just getting out there and touching base with as many people as possible too. Because people are online more, they're looking at properties more. And a lot of what Taryn was saying is so important is, there are plenty of people out there looking to rent, but at the end of the day, if you're with the rates being what the rates are being now, it's a great time and great opportunity for them to be able to go ahead and put money towards purchasing a home and whatnot. And just, we do note cards to our past clients, and people, we get in touch with if there's an expired or something comes on the market, or people go onto our website and want to do a market report, which I've had more activity of recently, people wanting to know what their properties are worth and whatnot, then follow up with a handwritten note card and things like that. Because what we do today is going to set us up for what's going to happen when everybody comes sort of out of this. So I think just being available and showing that you're not hiding behind closed doors all the time makes a big important, even if it's just to call and say, hey, how are you? Just wondering how you and your family are doing today is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nydia, how about you? How are you preparing for the post-COVID world?
Right now, we've been really just educating the agents. Really, we're in a virtual world now. So now, we've been telling them to really reach out to at least 20 plus clients a day. A lot of the same stuff Christina says, do your postcards, do your calls, do, and really we're preparing them for, you know, the virtual listing presentations, you know, having all that stuff now, because now this has shifted. You know, we were already going into a technology-based business now, and now we really have to do it. So really having 3D video tours on all your listings is it's a necessity. I actually did a FaceTime walkthrough with a client yesterday, and you know, they were really appreciative of it, but you have to learn how to do that. So we've been sending classes to the agents on how to really do a correct video tour. You know, Zillow has a product that you can do a video tour through their app, a 3D video tour, and a lot of people don't do it. No, and it's free, and it automatically goes onto your listing. So I encourage agents to do that. So there's a lot of things that you can do in this day and age to just keep in front of everybody and just become the market expert in your market and really just provide a value to your clients. Yep,
that's good stuff. Well, let's get into a couple rapid fire questions. So 30 seconds or less. All right, values 1 year from now, same, lower, or higher? Nydia.
I say the same, if not a little higher.
All right, Taryn.
I say the same. As long as the agents don't get buy in to buyers insisting values are going down, you know, and it's hard because buyers are insisting, well, I'm going to wait till it goes down. Well, that will create this. So as long as we maintain the market education and remind people that these are values, we weren't in a crisis before, it's balancing out, and you know, I do believe it'll be the same.
Okay, and Christina.
I'm very much on the same page as the girls. You know, I think it's going to be very similar and very much the same. Inventory is what's really going to dictate what's going on. So right now, everything is still on the low side as far as inventory goes. So until that changes, I think it's still on the seller side of the market. It may shift a little bit right afterwards, initially or so, just depending on what people's circumstances are. And with some of the unfortunate people that have lost their jobs, they may have to downsize and change things up a little bit. But I think it's going to hopefully stay pretty much the same.
Okay. Markets best position for growth post-COVID. So first-time home buyer markets, move-up buyers, second homes, investors, Lux, ultra Lux, waterfront. So what is it? What's the number one market in your mind that is positioned for growth post-COVID? Nydia.
Well, we've been telling our agents to go after like the baby boomers, the absentee owners, you know, divorce, because that's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
you're stuck right now, and people are doing things. So those are the ones that we've been focusing on: absentee owners, boomers, and divorce.
Okay, Christina.
I think it's going to be a lot of people are going to want to have more elbow room. Like I said before, they want to have. I think the single family homes are going to be possibly more in demand. Homes with pools, or you know, homes that have you know, an acre or more of land. Maybe I think people want to have a nice kitchen, an office within their homes. So I think there is going to be a little bit of shift there. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of second homes, but then again, if they're, you know, if they can afford it, there might be some more people buying those secondary homes just so they have a place to go if they need to get out of another area where they, you know, currently live full time.
Okay, and Taryn.
I think out-of-state buyers relocating because they don't want to be trapped in the Northeast ever again. Heaven forbid this ever happen again. For some of our virtual showings, I'm actually referencing some of the properties as a good quarantine compound. And I'm having a lot of people reach out to me desperate for you know, places like renters. I go back to renters because we're seeing a lot of that, but I see a lot of people saying, you know, I need more space. I don't have a backyard. I don't have a pool. So, you know, upsizing to more outdoor space, and also first-time home buyers, you know, with the stable jobs and good credit scores, because people are still working on that.
Gotcha. Good stuff. And the question of the day that really everybody wants to know, will the handshake come back?
I don't know.
is there a need for a handshake, elbow, a fist bump, does, you know, a virtual high five? And I kind of feel like a handshake before was so formal. And now, like when you fist bump a prospect or an elbow, like there's kind of like almost like a breaking of the ice. So I don't know. I don't think so. I'm liking the new way.
All right. So you're a no. What do you think, Nydia?
I think I'm with Taryn on this. I don't think it's going to come back. You know, it is kind of like a formal thing. And now people are just like, I'll give you a virtual handshake, or, you know, I've seen people like touch feet, which is kind of weird, but it's the new norm, right? We're all adjusting.
What do you think, Christina?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm, you know, and I'm a hugger kind of person too. So that's kind of tough for me. I think it's going to be tough for people not to. Even this morning, my client went to reach out and do a handshake to somebody and caught himself without even realizing it. It was like, oh, you know, and then it was the elbow. So I think I like it the little more casual way. I'm a little more casual myself, but I think it's just going to be a different world altogether. We're all going to need to take those extra precautions. And I think everyone's going to do that, you know, going forward for sure.
Good stuff. Well, what I'd like to do now is get into some of the, we have a couple questions in the queue. So I'd like to open it up for a little Q&A. And if anybody's on and wanted to ask a question, you can still throw it into the chat. All right, let's see what we got here. A couple of these are, we've touched on them. So I won't answer some of these because we already talked about it. When building a team, should I hire experienced individuals or should I build/teach individuals from the ground up? So any of you girls like to answer that one?
Well, both my girls, I am teaching as they're going. Therese has been licensed for a couple of years now and started with me after about 6 months, or not even maybe of being licensed. So that works for me. And Samantha was admin for over a year and got her license. I think it just kind of helps in a sense for my particular scenario that they kind of learn the way that I do things, and it's easier that way for me.
Gotcha. How about you, Nydia? Do you hire just experience or you'll train as well?
We train as well. And I think it's really always important too to have them do like a personality test and a DISC, because that way it'll teach you how to communicate with that team member, and it'll kind of bring out their strengths. So you know what to build on, because some people might be buyer's agents, some people might be listing agents. So that has been really important for us to do in the beginning stages. But experienced or newbies, we were all there once. So it's all about us really sharing our knowledge with everybody else and teaching them.
Okay. Taryn, anything to add on that?
So we also do the DISC testing, which has been amazing. The one thing for those of you thinking about growing a team is to ask yourself, one, are you a teacher? Because teaching and coaching is much harder than people realize. So one, you know, do you have what it takes? You know, do you communicate in a way that gives actionable sound bites? You know, that has been important. And also to take a look at your capacity to teach someone, because if you're bringing somebody on who truly knows nothing about real estate or sales, I mean, are they shadowing you for a week or 2 weeks to start getting sound bites and processes, because they're looking to you for that inspiration and that coaching. You know, the people that we brought on, you know, most of them had some kind of either sales experience or have been in real estate, you know, to get some familiarity, but it's also their drive and hustle. You know, somebody can, you know, have had their license for years, but if they have no ambition and no hustle, are they going to take away from, you know, from the educational experience? So, you know, the DISC test is really important, and mindset, are they willing to do what it takes? We had somebody who came to us and they're like, well, you know, I don't really want to be knocking on the doors or I don't want to be cold calling and I don't want to be working weekends. And I'm like, how do you plan to succeed in an industry that you don't really have the footing if you're not willing to go above and beyond? But if someone says, I'm willing to do whatever it takes and this is how, and I might not have the experience, but this is my commitment, you know, that's something that's workable if you can put together kind of a training regimen and expectations.
Can't teach grit and hustle, that's for sure.
That's true.
Here's a good question. Have any of you ever dealt with adversity in the real estate industry as being a woman? And if so, how have you overcome that adversity?
Look at Taryn.
Sorry. Sure. So I've had a couple clients that they don't talk to me directly. Sometimes they'll be Raj and I, and they'll just talk to him directly. And I just listen to body language, and it's helpful for us, you know, as a husband and wife team and with our business background together, just to be able to laugh it off and say, clearly, you know, this is where they see my strengths are, and they want to talk to you about this instead. So, you know, at first I was really upset. I'm like, did you realize he literally did not look at me during that entire appointment? And then I was like, I'm just going to outsmart him and show him that that he doesn't have to look at me for me to do my job really well. So there are also times when we've had people, and you just listen to cues, personality. If someone's really rude or standoffish, you know, I've even told my agents, like, just communicate to them, like, it's not okay to talk to me like that. I'm a professional. And, you know, and if that's not okay with you, then maybe we're not a fit. So, you know, just listening, and also realizing you don't have to work with everybody. So if you have someone that is just difficult with you because you're a woman, or they think you're not as good as somebody else, or I'm younger than, you know, some other agents and some, different specialties that we do. Sometimes people are like, oh, you know, you're so young, I want someone more experienced. And I'm like, let me show you my credentials and my accomplishments, and then you can let me know if we're not a fit. So I try not to be affected by it. And I think, how can I outsmart them and win this opportunity?
How about you, Nydia? Have you ever dealt with anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I started in real estate when I was fairly young. I was 21 years old when I started in real estate. So yeah, I mean, I worked my way up, but I started doing rentals, and you know, then from there I managed an office, and I owned an office, and then just adjusted with the times. But it's really just showing them that we have the knowledge, that I have the knowledge, that I know what I'm talking about. And it's really, like Taryn says, you know, outsmarting them and just proving to them that, you know, yeah, I'm here for a reason. I've been doing this for 20 years now for a reason. So, you know, showing your value and your worth.
Good, real good. How about you, Christina?
I've had it, you know, not a lot, fortunately, but I think just portraying confidence, and it goes also by what, you know, Taryn and Nydia are saying. If you're confident and knowledgeable and know, it kind of sets that apart. And you're always going to get it one way or the other. And some guys want to work with guys, and hey, whatever, I get it, you know, but that's never going to deter me. And I keep pushing forward. And I think, again, just staying on top of it and being confident and knowledgeable and know hey, we all know that we work our butts off. We didn't get to where we got by not doing so and knowing what we're doing. So I think just keep pushing forward, and showing that confidence makes a big difference.
Good. Another question that just came through, how are you utilizing the internet and social media to sell homes? So what's one, say, tactic or tip that you do with internet or social media to sell homes? Nydia.
So we use KV Core. So we automatically get a landing page for each one of our listings. So from there, we actually boost it on Facebook, and we're really successful getting leads that way. Doing video walkthroughs. Some of our agents do like Instagram lives, Facebook lives on the properties, and they've been able to get a lot of buyers that way. But boosting them, we always get leads from that. And just really portraying the property correctly. And pictures are so important. Pictures are really so important. And in this day and age with the videos, everybody's on social media right now looking at things. So if you're not posting your properties on social media, you're really doing a disservice to yourself and your clients.
Yep. How about you, Christina?
Pretty much the same thing. Is, you know, Teresa's been out doing live videos. Her husband's been helping her out, and they put music to the background, like Jimmy Buffett music or something soothing and tropical. I think doing some live stuff on Facebook is also very good, but even just those videos alone, because then you could repost them, reuse them on other different media sites. Also doing the property boost like Nydia, we do the same thing, property boosts, and you know, anything along those lines just to kind of keep it up. I do e-blasts to a lot of the people that are on our leads generation. If we know of a price reduction or something like that, or we have a new listing, we'll e-blast that to our buyer leads. So just pretty much the same thing, staying out there in front of people, Instagram and whatnot.
Good stuff. And one more question just came through, and then we'll go ahead and get wrapped up. What is one thing that you're curious about in the next 6 to 12 months? Taryn.
Financing guidelines. I can't wait for non-QM loans to come back. I just, you know, I want to make, you know, I'm interested to see what happens with the self-employed borrowers. Also, you know, how the tax filing extension is going to affect qualifications, you know, all these different EIDL and the PPP loans. I mean, a lot of our clients are self-employed. So, you know, where do they put that on the application? So what is that going to do to our buyer pool for those clients? Gotcha.
Nydia, what are you curious about in the next 6 to 12 months?
I think Taryn's point is really, really good because there's so much uncertainty right now with the lending process and people in the situations that they're in right now. So that's definitely one of the most important things, because we want to be able to offer tools to our agents and our clients on how to qualify for a loan. And that's your job, Ryan.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of changes. A lot of changes in the market. Every day is like a surprise box. It seems like, you know, the new things coming out and new things changing. But you know, the Fed has provided a lot of liquidity and a lot of stability. So, you know, we'll know a lot more in the next few weeks as to where like non-QM and jumbo. You know, there's a lot of like movement in that space and these overlays. You know, hopefully all that starts to ease. Christina, what do you think?
I'm right there with the girls. I think they made the most important thing is how are these, you know, all price ranges, how are they going to qualify and what's going to help them qualify? Not everybody has the liquidity to be able to go out and just buy stuff for cash. And, you know, what's going to happen with the stock market? You know, everything's changed so drastically with all of these. It's so much uncertainty with all the up and downs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I would just add too is, you know, kind of back to the financing guidelines and that in jumbo is, you know, especially in the jumbo markets, you're seeing people, you know, some people they want to finance because they've lost a lot of money in the market and they don't want to sell to liquidate and take that loss. So they want to finance, but loans above 510,000 are getting like tighter and tighter and tighter. You know, two of the biggest banks that purchased these loans on Wall Street, Wells Fargo and Chase, like literally just pulled out of correspondent lending. So they buy up a lot of these jumbo notes that are in the marketplace. So you're having, you know, more restrictions getting tighter. And then you also have uncertainty from lenders because of this whole forbearance and deferment that's going out. So like if we originate a loan today and we say sell it on Wall Street to an investor, and the next month, the client says, well, due to COVID, I need to go into forbearance for the next 3 months. Well, the liability then falls back on us because it'd be considered an early payment default. We'd have to buy that loan back. So if you're a mortgage company doing, say, selling $20 million of loans and 10 million get bought back the next month, obviously that will sink the ship pretty quickly. So that's why you're seeing a lot of these lenders tighten guidelines and having more restrictions or just eliminating programs altogether because they're not certain as to how the forbearance and deferment is gonna be in the next couple months, and what are the legalities behind that. So I wanted to thank all you ladies for joining me today. All three of you are awesome. I respect you guys so much. I'm so grateful that you came on today. You guys shared a ton of good information, a lot of good nuggets, whether you're an agent that's been around a long time or where you're an agent just maybe starting out. So I just want to thank you from my heart for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
You're welcome. And just to announce, on Thursday, I'm going to be doing another series where actually I'm going to be just doing the presentation. We're going to be talking about investor overlays. We're going to be talking about how to beat your 401k, your dying 401k with a 15-year fix. Talk about like the forbearance and deferment. I'm going to get out the whiteboard and we're going to break down some numbers. So that'll be Thursday. So we'll send out a notification on that. Again, thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Good to see you all. Have a great day.